So yeah, at a certain point you realize 50mm was the way to go, but now you have doubts because there are third-party glasses or the original ones from your camera brand, and how fast you want that 50mm to be, f1.8 or f1.4 or eventually f1.2. Today we'll see together how the Sony G Master 50mm f1.2 performs and if it's worth it or not the investment. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thomas Love here from beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, and if you are following the channel for a while, you know that I am a 50mm shooter. You know, in the eternal debate whether 35 or 50mm is the best choice for street photography, I would go for 50mm, but today we're not discussing that. There's no right or wrong anyway. We're discussing because there are plenty of camera and glasses that are willing to provide you with their 50mm f1.2. Now, f1.2, it's a super fast glass and probably it's not needed, or at least this is my humble opinion. My 2 cents here is that when I used to have my Nikon 50mm f1.4, there was plenty. It was super cheap and it was super small and lightweight. But nowadays, we all want the inner stable in the camera and in the glass, and then we want faster lenses. We don't even know why. f1.2 is this big of a hole when it's wide open, and so it lets plenty of light in. But do you need it, and why do you need it if you're not a professional? So today I was going around with the usual Sony A7R III paired with the 50mm G Master f1.2. which is big and bulky, but not so big and bulky as I was expecting it to be. Like, it's the smaller of the actual offering, and I'm considering the Sony G Master, the Canon version, and the Nikon Z-mount, and this is apparently the smallest of the three. But hold tight, because end of month, Sigma is releasing another 50mm f1.2 for both the E-mount for Sony or for the L-mount Alliance. And then eventually there are plenty of other brands such as Viltrox. I was not even aware they are now producing autofocusing glasses, and eventually this 50mm f1.2 is available from Viltrox as well. So you have a wider choice if you want to go for f1.2. But let's see together, because I was going around today, and since using it with daylight for street photography, I don't need that fast of a glass, and so I had to go inside a couple times just to have the chance to shoot wide open, and I have to say it didn't let me down. Now, this glass has been around for a while, and the camera as well, so I have the lens correction profile installed into the post-processing software that I'm using, which is Capture One, so there is no distortion whatsoever. I will not run any specific tests because this glass has been around for a while, and so there are plenty of reviews already available if you want to see, but I wanted to give you my 2 cents for street photography for this big and bulky and heavy and expensive glass, because we're talking about more than $2,000 American, Canadian. I'm even scared at checking the price, but $2,000 for what? For a G Master glass. Now, when you consider that the f1.2 really needs to have plenty of light in, you need this wide of a glass, and so you also need this big of a glass. It has several elements inside, and if you don't want to slow down the autofocus, and nowadays nobody wants to have a slow autofocus, a dual motor was not enough, because there are so many elements and so big the glasses inside the lens that in order to have them move fast, they had to use 4 motors inside. So dual motor was not enough. They're using 4 in this Sony iteration, and I have to say, probably it is worth the money you spend, because this glass is superb. It's a great construction. It's super sharp. It has eventually a start, don't quote me on that, of 3D pop. And so Sony G Master, they're not pairing yet the quality from well-known glass masters such as Leica and Zeiss, and eventually also Voigtlander, but they're getting there with this Sony G Master glass. I am pleased, because honestly, I was going around with this beautiful combo, and it's not cheap combo at all, because it's at least 2K for the camera nowadays and 2K for the glass. So I was going around playing with $4,000 in my hands, and of course I was expecting to get great results, and I have to say it didn't let me down. So let's see together a few examples here. I was just roaming around looking for inspiration downtown for some street photography, but then eventually I realized it's already the right period for the cherry blossoming, and so plenty of people are going around chasing this cherry blossoming, this sakura, as they call it in Japan, in order to snap good memories with this cherry blossoming as a background. And so there are plenty of areas here in Vancouver. This is famous both in Vancouver here, but also in Washington. If you go, there are plenty of trees, cherry blossoming. And then eventually I got a big mix, because with cherry blossoming, there are these bright colors. And if you don't pay particular attention, all the flowers, they can very easily clip the highlights. And so I had to step down eventually even more. And so very fast shutter speed, like 1/800 of a second, 1000 even faster, because there was so much light coming in. And then I had to step down the glass. But now if you step down a glass which is f1.2 as a max aperture, of course you're not having any trouble. So after f4, f5.6, f8, I was using even sometime f11, of course you are not expecting to have any troubles. And so basically all the pictures that I've taken with this glass were satisfying to me, because the color grading is not needed. There was just a tiny bit of tweaks here and there, because Sony color science, I'm not saying it's not pleasant, but I'm not used to it. And so just minor tweaks here and there, just to get the sense and the tone that I want my pictures to have. But this camera and this glass paired together are outperforming any other more recent camera, because this is a professional intent use for both the camera and the glass. So the budget is a bit high, but it's not so high. I mean, you can spend even more dollars if you want to have a Leica, and I have to say it didn't let me down. So it is needed, probably not, but if you want to have it, it's a beautiful construction and you're getting beautiful results out of this glass. You also see the lens hood has a little bit of rubber around it, so I can eventually put it upside down and be safe with it. And then I had this additional grip under the camera, so the pinky is not bouncing around loose. And I have to say, Sony is surprising me. I didn't consider it for a while, and I don't know those products very well, but more and more I'm using this Sony camera, the more I get familiar to it, with the Sony menu, with the color science, and so on and so forth. And I do understand why plenty of people switched to Sony, despite I didn't have an ND filter with me, so I couldn't test the video performances from this glass, but I'm expecting only great things, because with stills I was also pleased. So let me know down here in the comments if you're still looking for your 50mm, or if you have any questions. I would be more than happy to answer them. And if you got any value out of this video, please remember to like it, share it on your social media, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the new videos to come. And I guess I will see you later. Thank you. Bye bye.